Hello there. It is just a beautiful day today. You can just see, I mean, spotless. That's not a good way to describe a day. You know, it's perfect. It's great. Clouds, blue sky, puffy white clouds. This is not a good start. I should restart this. Hey everybody, as you can see, I don't like that either. Hey, as you can see, it is a beautiful, perfect day outside today. We did get just between 3 and 4/10 of an inch of rain yesterday, which we desperately needed. And now I'm just about to finish the second to last field. As you can see, I'm done planting over here, and as soon as I get up to that grass strip up there, this field will be done and we'll be headed to the very last field to plant. I can't believe it. Feels like it's gone by really fast.
Hey there, thanks for turning down my road. If this is your first time here, my name's Carl. My little brother and I both work for local farmers full time, but we both also farm together with our cattle herd and our hay operation. If you don't have the joy of farming yourself, I'd love to help you experience it through this channel. Whatever your background, you found the right place. This is Dodge Brothers Farm and Ranch.
I've got the last beans on the tender. I'm on the way to the last field, and we're gonna try something kind of crazy. We're gonna try to no-till plant beans right into some hay that's been hay for quite a while. And they sprayed it and killed it, but it's not quite, I mean, it's not crispy yet. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. First of all, the ground's kind of hard, and there's a lot of hay left. It might wrap around the row cleaners. I might not be able to keep the planter in the ground. I don't know. We might have to wait for it to die better, and we might have to wait for a rain to soften the ground up. But we're gonna give it a try. Let's go see what we can do. I just absolutely love coming down to this farm. We don't come down here every year. It's normally all hay, but every once in a while they've got some beans or some corn down here where some hay has died off or needs to be reseeded. But I just love coming down here. It is beautiful. It is scenic. It doesn't look anything like where we normally farm. And it's only 20 minutes away. Hey, I recognize that rig. So I left the planter and tractor down here last night, so I got to get my key out of my super secret hiding location. So don't look. You're still looking. Okay. So we had a little trouble planting the other day and diagnosed a bad solenoid in the PDM, the power distribution module. So rather than put a new one in the field, we just hot wired around it. And so now we're having to plug the planter in every time we start. I mean, this was actually how we diagnosed it, was we wired around the solenoid and then everything was fine. So, all right, while we're getting the tractor warmed up quick here, I want to show you what we had to do to diagnose this problem the other day. Check this out. This is pretty sweet. Set up, diagnose, and look at this. Everything is laid out on this diagnose screen, basically the way that it's wired together. And so you can watch, I was watching the V drives, which is the meters, the motor on the meter on every row. You can watch all that live data in real time. The SRM, which is the little module, the little computer module on every row, you can watch all of that. Like you can watch supply volts on each row, you can watch the amperage on the drive motors. You can look at all of that stuff in real time while you're going. And that really, really helped to quickly diagnose where the problem was. And so the voltage was fluctuating on all of the row units together. So we wired around that solenoid and that solved the problem. It was really great to be able to watch all the voltages and amperage draws as we were planting. Because as you know, whenever you get a technician out to ride with you for an hour or so, you can never get the problem to happen while they are actually in the tractor with you. And so being able to just flip to that screen and watch all of that live data while you're having the problem Now, a lot of equipment manufacturers don't let you look at all that stuff while you're going. I mean, most of them nowadays have to bring their laptop out, hook their laptop up to the system, and they can watch all that stuff on their special software, but us, the farmers, can't see it. I like that we can see it on this screen. All right, let's get her done. See if this is gonna work. Well, we're planting. I've been out digging already. I'll get out and dig here a little bit more. The beans are getting planted pretty well. Nothing about this is gonna be quite ideal, but I'm actually thinking it's going to work. All right, we're gonna get out and check, do a little digging, make sure that we're getting the beans planted properly, or as properly as we can given the circumstances here. The sod is like opening up with the disc openers and then rolling back shut. So I don't think we're gonna have trouble getting the beans covered up, but I wanna do it as good as I can. So, or as well as I can. I should talk as good as I can too, right? Let's go check. I'm especially concerned about these rows out on the outside here where the wings are having trouble staying in the ground. Yeah, this is definitely unlike anything I've ever done before. Wow. There's one. That one was about 2 inches deep. I'm concerned about the furrow opening back up, but I kind of think that the sod is going to protect that from happening. But I'm having a hard time joining that furrow back together. This is going to be a real science experiment here. All right, let's check on those furrow force rows. Let's see, right here, okay? Yeah, I'm thinking I might have to put some more pressure down on them because I'm not seeing that pattern from the second stage wheels. It is closing the furrow. Well, actually, it's closing it better than the Yetters. But I still would like to know if those wheels are staying on the ground or not on the back there. So I got down here yesterday and got started, did a little digging and was pretty happy with the way that it was actually performing in this hay. Really surprised it was doing such a good job. And we got about 11 acres planted and all of a sudden completely lost communication with the planter. Couldn't communicate with any of the modules from the monitor. Called some experts, did some diagnosing, and it ultimately came down to the 2020 display itself was having a big problem. So we quick swapped it out this morning for a different used display, and away we are going again. We could have been all put back together and going again about supper time last night, but I had a meeting I had to get to just before supper anyway, so we just got rolling again this morning. It's working really good. The ground is pretty hard, but we're doing a pretty good job at maintaining consistent ground contact. Hey, you guys, I gotta show you something. This is really cool. Like I said, this is just a really picturesque farm down here. Take a look at that. You got the beautiful green spring grass. You got the cows just relaxing out there, enjoying the sunlight. And then look up there, you see that? I'm gonna have to zoom in. It's not gonna be great because it's just my phone, but look, that's an eagle's nest with a bald eagle sitting up on top. You can't see them right now, but there's 2 babies down in that nest. They were standing up earlier. That is just really cool. Really cool. I wish I had a better camera to show you right now, but I don't. I've been getting out and digging occasionally and things have been going pretty well. I think we should get out again and check up here on the really hard ground where we're having trouble sort of keeping enough downforce. We're losing ground contact slightly once in a while. You just can hardly tell where you've been. Now it's pretty much, I mean, that furrow is not going to close all the way to the top because of the way we cut that sod and it wants to roll back together. But if I can find a bean, that guy was planted, that guy was planted 2.5 inches deep, but I almost don't count this little layer of sod fluff on the top where it's not completely closed. With the amount of moisture we've got in the furrow here, and the temperature of the furrow I was getting on the Smart Firmer, I'm totally all right with having them planted 2.25 inches deep into this. I think I think we're doing a pretty good job, you guys. And this is kind of a strange scenario. The hay didn't come back this year like they thought, so they decided the most economical thing to do was to just spray it and no-till beans right into it, knowing that it wasn't going to be perfect, but I think it's going to turn out better this way than if we would have waited for everything to die off and then done a bunch of tillage. This is really sandy ground down here. It's better to avoid heavy tillage if you can on this type of ground. Erosion is definitely a concern, so all things considered, this seemed like the best way to try to do this. Actually, speaking of tillage, the Gophers have pretty much done all the tillage that needs to be done here already. That's another reason that we're only going 4.1 to 4.4 miles per hour. Really, our limiting factor here on the downforce is actually the wings. You can't probably see it right now, but we're just getting right on the edge of where that wing is wanting to angle up just a little bit, because I'm putting enough downforce on the rows that it's lifting the bar up on the end. And I've kind of been playing with the maximum allowed downforce in this monitor here, and trying to keep it just under the threshold where that'll lift up. Because if I let it do what it wants to do, it's trying to keep every row unit in the ground at all costs, and it'll actually push that wing up, and then that's not good because we don't have uniformity. So I'm not losing much ground contact, just a little bit here and there. The depth is staying pretty consistent. I've been getting out and checking and doing some digging. I could hang some big weights out on the end of the planter, but I'm not about to do that just for the last 20 or 30 acres here. It would take a little fabricating on the end of the planter, and I also don't really want to risk breaking anything. I'd like to I'm just going nice and slow. The slower I go, the easier it is for the planter to stay in the ground. The faster you go, the more those disc openers are trying to push up out of the ground. It's kind of like water skiing, actually. So I'm just kind of loping along at about 4 miles an hour, just taking it real easy and getting these beans in the ground. I don't want to jinx myself, but if I can make it down there, like right down there to that spot right there, I'll be done planting for 2021. That's crazy. You gotta be kidding me. I just ran out of seed. Not to worry. You see that little black 4-gallon bucket on the planter? I actually had that full of beans from cleaning out the bottom of the auger on the tender. So I think we're gonna make it now. It is really gonna be close. I am actually quite pleased that we're getting this close to being out of beans, because I didn't want to have a bunch of beans left in the planter when we were done. Well, we had just enough seed, and that's it. Planting 2021 is in the books. Hey, thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.